right, we got a rowdy crowd out there. Hey, so my name is Derek Maribon, CEO of Genex Digital Marketing, and thanks to everybody for coming. Thanks for that. There we go. We have people in Iceland who want to see my pretty pictures. So any first timers, any first time LA2Mers? You got one. All right, you win the prize. Yeah, thanks for coming.
That means I get to sweep up after.
Yeah, you get to clean up afterwards.
All the dishes.
Thanks for being here. You know, as you know, we do meet every Wednesday, and we always have great speakers. And thanks to all those who came. So did anyone go away last weekend? Anyone go away out of town or anything? Where'd you go?
Chicago.
How was it?
Great.
Great time? Okay. Who else? Yes.
I went to my hometown, Bay City. A few miles
Bay City?
Can you believe it?
Is that where the Bay City Rollers are from?
You know, that is true. They aren't from there, but what they did is they were looking for a name and they threw a dart at the globe and it hit Bay City.
And the rest, my friends, is history.
Madonna's from there too, but you know, we don't necessarily want to play any.
Great. Okay, we love Madonna. Okay, great. So anyways, just to give you an idea of the format of this meeting, our speaker talks for approximately 30 to 40 minutes. We do have some time often for Q&A, and then at the end we get to do introductions, and we always get you out of here by 1, at least usually, so just to plan your schedule. Feel free to tweet during this program. Is there any tweeters out there? Any tweets? Okay, tweets? Okay. So Lindsay Blackwell, of Dear Lisa Rogers fame, is going to be tweeting for LA2M. So you can follow LA2M on Twitter. You can also check in on Foursquare. Just check right in at LA2M. Carter's the mayor. He's our photographer. He's late. So maybe you can oust him as mayor today. I don't know if you're lucky. The other,
you'd be elected, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, is anybody going to the Women Making Connections event tonight? Anyone? Bueller? Okay, there are a couple doors down. There's a big event going on with Tammy Burgess is putting on that Women Making Connections event. I think Sandler's a sponsor. Mike said you guys are sponsoring. I don't know if you're going to be there or not. But are you going to be there? Oh, okay. All right. And Genex will be there because it's like in our building, so we might as well just stick around. So come visit. It's this afternoon starting at 4:30. Ross, Lindsay, you guys going to stick around for that? No? Okay. All right. Anyways, we have our sponsor this month. You want to come up here and say a few words? The Ride and the Get Downtown, and we're all about being environmentally friendly LA2M. And we're lucky enough to have these guys sponsor, and Justin will tell you about it.
Like I said, I'm Justin. I'm the Business Transportation Coordinator at the Ride and Arbor Transportation Authority. I'm here promoting our Get Downtown program, and specifically every May, and this May included, is our Commuter Challenge program, which is a competition between businesses in the area where you log commutes online. One logs commute enters you in for a prize. Everyone gets an ice cream or Italian ice, and everyone gets put in the pot for an Amazon Kindle. But the point of the event is to have healthy competition between local organizations to see if they can get their employees to log a sustainable commute, which can be carpool, vanpool, the bus, walking, riding your bike. All of those options are available. You'll notice that it begins May 1st. You'll notice that on your table, and I have more of these if you need one, is a little bit about the Commuter Challenge. On the back and on the front, there's a website where you can sign up. Businesses are organized by the size of their business, and they compete against each other. So if you are a sole individual in your business, you will compete against other individuals in that same category. The last thing I want to point out is that the newest service at the Ride is Air Ride, service from Ann Arbor to the airport and back. And so there's a flyer of that on your table as well, and I just wanted to let you guys know. So thank you. Thank you for letting us sponsor.
Thanks. All right, great. So how many people have already signed up for the Commuter Challenge? Okay, 1. Very good. Anybody else? Okay.
Have already signed up.
Have already signed up. Okay, we need to sign up. I think it starts May 1st, right?
Correct.
Lindsay? And Genex, we need to do things. Because if we ride to work, what happens if we ride our bikes to work? Any positive benefits?
Usually a little slimmer.
You could lose some weight, yeah. I could use the help there. What else might it benefit?
Fresh air.
Fresh air.
Your heart might be a little better.
Your heart rate, what was that?
No parking.
Yeah, don't have to deal with parking. There's many benefits, okay? So we like that. So let's try and do that. It's not easy for some people because we're from the Motor City, we're tied to our cars. but let's do it for this year. Okay. Enough for me. Okay, our speaker today, here's our photographer, Carter Sherlin. Thank you for being here. Today we have Tom Crawford. And Tom's a great guy. I've known Tom for a long time, and I've been working with him on some projects. He's a wonderful app developer. He's a wonderful visual presentation designer. He's spoken at LA2M in the past. He's a great speaker. And let's give him a warm round of applause to welcome him. Tom Crawford.
Mic on? There we go. Now you can hear me? All right.
Oh, wait.
No?
Sorry, I just passed the basket. Okay. We always pass the basket. This is how we support ourselves. You're welcome to throw money in the basket. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. There you go. Thank you.
So, I am Tom Crawford. Among other things, I'm a mobile app developer. Most of you have probably seen me speak on other topics. Some have seen me speak on mobile. But today is all mobile all the time. So, really our topic today is to do kind of a survey of sorts, to look at what all kinds of companies are doing with mobile apps. Some of them are using this to advertise, some are using it to interact with their customers, some people are using it to just give their customers something fun to do. So we're going to take a look at all of those. But this is going to be a whirlwind of content. We have probably 80 or 90 apps we're going to look at in the next 35 minutes. So get ready because it's going to go fast.
Hold on to your hats.
Definitely hold on to your hats. So the reason we're doing this at all, why this I think is an important topic, is if you're looking at developing an app or you think you have an app idea, it's always good to know your competition. There's a lot of reasons why you want to know your competition. In this case, we're not looking at direct competitors for your business, although you should absolutely do that. We're not looking at competitors who are best in class necessarily. We're looking at functional competitors. These are competitors who are using apps for marketing. So that's kind of the focus on how these got selected. I'm extremely informal. I know we normally do Q&A at the end, but it's often easier to do Q&A throughout. So if you have a question, stop me, and we'll hit those as we go, and we'll try to save some time. But that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. So I have a lot of caveats here. One, the whole session today is about ideas. If at the end of this session you come out with an app idea that you think is great for your business, you've been successful. So not to say that every business needs an app, but today is about helping you think about ideas. However, the list of apps, while we're doing 80 or 90 of them, is not exhaustive. It may be exhausting to go through them all, but it is not exhaustive. So there are many apps that we're not going to cover. You take a company like GE, they have hundreds of apps that are out there in various forms. We're not going to be able to even look at just one company, so it's not an exhaustive list. And frankly, the list isn't even a good list. I would say half of the apps in the list today are junk, complete and utter crap. You shouldn't use them, but they are reasonably good for brainstorming or for ideas to say, hey, what are other people doing? One more caveat in here. Almost every example, in fact, in this presentation, every example is Apple-based products. So it's iOS, so iPhone, or iPod, iPad. Sorry to the Android people out there, but I didn't want to go through 20 different app stores to find apps. So a singular app store as a search was a much easier thing for this presentation. However, many of these apps that you're going to see today are available on Android. You're just looking at the iOS versions. So, okay, with that, here's the top of the Fortune 25 brands. How many of them do you think have at least one app? All of them have at least one app. That is not correct.
22.
80%.
I can't do that math in my head. No, that's 20, roughly. 20 out of 25, right? So that is actually very close. It's actually 19 out of 25. 6 of them do not have apps. And I mention that very intentionally to say you shouldn't just have an app. There's not really a reason that every business has to have an app. That's not what I'm saying. We're talking about apps. It's all apps all the time today. But that doesn't mean that every business needs an app for every function. It's just not realistic and not wise. Even 6 of the Fortune 25 don't have apps. Now, if you look at them, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, should they have an app? I don't know. Maybe they do. And here's the thing. Not all apps that are created for General Motors, for example, are created by General Motors. They could be created by an outside firm. That's somewhat normal these days. But they also could be created by a fanboy or the opposite of a fanboy, somebody who doesn't like them. We'll take a look at some of those apps. So even if you do a search for GM or General Motors on the app stores, you might not get a comprehensive look at all of the apps they do. So maybe Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and Berkshire Hathaway and Valero, maybe they do have apps, but they're not under their brand name. That's very possible. Anheuser-Busch has Here's the Beer. It's not, you won't see Anheuser's name anywhere on that site. So you don't really know. And the same thing is true. You don't know that an independent developer isn't the company. They may be masquerading as the company, or they may be paid by the company to create an app that is not necessarily the company wants to be directly brand associated with. Also, a lot of these companies probably have apps that are internal only. They're locked off behind a firewall somewhere, so we wouldn't be able to find them or even know that they exist. So it is possible that the 6 that are listed have apps, but they're for their partners, for their customers only, not available on the general app stores. That's entirely possible. So again, one more caveat. So with apps, it's pretty easy to do the obvious. It seems that everybody's doing the obvious. What if you were REI? What would be the obvious app for REI to do? Retail. What kind of things would be in there?
The ability to go to their website and buy something.
Yeah, so to go to the website, see about them, get some content, buy something. Obvious.
You know, maybe see reviews and all the things that they have on their website.
Yeah, reviews, sale items, absolutely obvious. What about GM? What would be an obvious app for GM?
Look at all the cars.
Look at all the cars. Get information about it. The brochure, basically. An online version of the brochure. Incredibly obvious. Well, we're going to see some of those today, but really I think the value in the presentation today is moving beyond the obvious into the things that aren't necessarily intuitive that you might develop. So with that, I've divided the apps up into 3 categories. The first category are apps that are focused on the company, or you in this case. The second category that we're going to look at are apps that are focused on the relationship between you and your customer. The third set of apps we're going to look at are the ones that are focused solely on the customer and may not be at all related to the company or the relationship. Somewhat arbitrary grouping, but I think it comes in handy and you start to see a theme go through them. So here's the first set of categories, and we set it for GM. This is a Ford example. And by the way, if you're wondering if you see this app and you want to get this app and download it, the company and name of the app are up on the right side for all of these. So if you want to go look them up, you can do that and download them from the App Store. This is the Mustang Customizer. It is fundamentally brochureware. It's an ad for the company. And in here, you can go and customize your Mustang, including creating colors that don't exist, that aren't even available at the dealership. You can certainly choose the default colors, you can choose the default settings, but you can make your own completely, including labels and colors and the entire car customization. And then at the end, you can see in the lower right corner, you can then battle your Mustang against other vehicles that you've created. So it turns into a game a little bit at the end. But fundamentally, the whole process here is brochureware. More on that, going on the trade show side, this is one by GE for one of their lighting shows. Healthcare shows. We have a lot of GE examples. They're doing some amazing, innovative work in the app field. This is one for their trade show. They have a massive trade show booth, so helping navigate that. Where can you find the people in the booth? Where can you find the information in the booth? If you're looking for a particular product, where is it going to be when you have a trade show that is as big as this, which is nearly an entire hall? Another one, this is also GE. A little bit beyond the brochure, you can choose the lighting for your room, place it in the photo, and then see what kind of impact that's going to have on your room. That's kind of a cool idea. A little bit beyond brochureware, right? So you have something where you're seeing the product, you see the lamp, you see the light, you choose the bulb, you choose the brightness, all of those kinds of things. And you can, in this case, on the left, you can even do it by mood. What kind of mood do you want to set? Do you want a romantic mood? Do you want a business mood? Do you want whatever mood you might be in? So it's still selling the product. It is still fundamentally brochureware, except that it starts to edge a little bit further. So we move beyond the obvious of, I'm going to take a brochure and put it online, and I'm going to help people begin to interact with the product. Another semi-category, again, still all about the company. This tends to be in the obvious category. I'm going to take my annual report and put it online. All of the publicly traded companies have to have annual reports. In this case, this is GE, but a lot of them have annual reports that are online. You can go look at them. This is reasonably interactive, but it's still, you tap a button and you get the CEO's name and a little bit of information about them, or you might scan through. Yeah.
Is that an app?
This is not. Yeah, these are all apps.
The annual report app?
It is an annual report app. They have 2010 and 2011 out there for GE. The 2010 one was not nearly as interesting as the 2011 from an interactive design. I found the navigation on this one quite confusing. There's a lot in there and it's not intuitive how to get around and what to do, but at least they were trying something new. This isn't the typical flip the pages, just put the annual report on. It has a little bit of interactivity in there. So they're trying anyway. I think they still need a bit more work, but it's a very attractive app from a design standpoint. Here's another one. If you have a company that says story, I guess, is Coke, you can afford to do a history app. So this is the history of Coke. Has no real value. I mean, unless you're just like a history buff or you're interested in kind of pop culture. There's no real information about their current product line. Although there is, when did we get Sobe and when did we get vitamin water and those kinds of things are in here. I think Sobe's still there. Vitamin water definitely is.
Is New Coke on there?
New Coke is in there. They did not leave it out. Fascinating enough. I still think they could have done more with this. Even on a history app, I think it could have been a little deeper. But if you have a company where your history is important and you want to tell that story, that could be an interesting way to do that. Here's two. These are, I tried to get as many local examples as I possibly could, and you'll see quite a few of these are new about. Dividend is the business school's monthly or quarterly magazine, forget which it is, probably quarterly. And Michigan Engineer is obviously the engineering school's magazine as well. You can get both of those and get updates to them. It's just news about what's going on at the school, sent out to their alumni. In fact, these schools the magazine is actually called Dividend Alumni. Being very clear about who that's for. More kind of news-related stuff. Obviously, the LA2M app. Can't forget that one, right? And did Vince do this? Who did this? Wayne did this. Wayne Aker did this one. So that's the LA2M one on the right. And then, of course, that's the official Michigan sports one, the Michigan Athletic Department. So you can get all the game information, all the stats, everything you could possibly want news. But again, all of these, you'll notice so far, have had no interaction related to you. This is all about me, 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 me. I'm the company, listen to me, see me, look at the cool things I'm doing, find out about me. Very typical advertising stuff. Sometimes, though, it goes beyond, and this is a Henry Ford quotes app. Okay, that's kind of an interesting idea. There is a Ford history app out there. Not all that good, but it's out there. This is one where somebody else made the app. This was a fanboy, a Henry Ford fanboy. It's actually a pretty bad app as far as apps go. The design of it is pretty lacking. But the company didn't put this out.
It's probably the first app.
It might have been the first app, and it's actually, I think it was done.
No, I mean, it might, but I think he was trying to learn how to do an app.
No, yeah, exactly. It was 3 years ago, I think this one was released, so it's not new on the, it doesn't take advantage of any of the new design stuff, so it very well could be just a practice app. But nonetheless, he's making money off it. I gave him 99 cents.
How many sells it actually?
Yes, it actually sells it. So imagine that. Ford could have this out there, have a whole history of Henry Ford as a person, not just as a company. They don't have it. Yet it took somebody else to do that. So if you're not going to do it, somebody else might. and somebody else might make money off it. And this is publicly available info, so there's no copyright related issues on here, so all the maps published. Or AT&T, they sponsor, all the big companies sponsor events. This is their Pebble Beach sponsorship. So they create the app. This is actually created by and published by AT&T for the event. So an interesting way to bring out more information. And then one more category here. This is a fascinating one. We talked about Coke and Ford history. This is actually math history. Major minds of math. Fascinating. Sponsored by, created by IBM. Why would IBM do this? It has nothing to do with IBM directly. Not really. Why would they do it?
Brand association.
Brand association, what do you mean?
They seem smart math.
They want to seem smart. And they do happen to have a lot of math people on. I mean, you think about the math that's behind, I just blanked on it, what's the guy's, the Jeopardy contestant?
Watson.
Yeah, Watson. The math that's behind Watson alone, trying to figure out probabilities and comparing all probabilities from all kinds of pieces of data, that's massive amounts of math. So from their standpoint, that association one, they look smart, but they also potentially make that connection to say, hey, we want math people, which they definitely are in need of.
They've been in the math business a long time, too.
They have. Well, I mean, computers are fundamentally math.
But I mean, before that, they did the things that did the census, and they've been in the
Well, the adding machine, yeah. If you go back to the very beginning, first, the technical business machine was a calculator fundamentally. Here's one other along that, and this one I found even more fascinating than that. This is called Verizon Thought Leadership. Okay, really? What, I mean, it's thought leadership about everything and anything, not telecom, not mobile, not information, but thought leadership about anything. So you can go in, each one of those is an article, and you can click on it, get all the details about what it is. So it's some of their writings and some of their opinions, and then some people that they think are smart and bring those in as well. So this is, why would Verizon do this? Again.
Well, since they sell the iPhone, and since this is an app that kind of benefits the iPhone, it keeps their name in front of the potential customer, and when they want to buy another iPhone.
You have a very good point. You're going to see that in a couple more Verizon apps that even come more close to that. It's fascinating. Actually, if you look at Verizon and AT&T, they have a ton of apps. They are not the biggest app producers in the top 25, but they are pretty big. They're some of the top. They're probably a top 10.
They try to keep communication with the customer, I think.
Even though it may not be directly related.
Yeah, that's what it matters.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting strategy on their point. So, okay, so we've talked a lot about the company. Now we're going to switch into a little bit more, so we're going to have a relationship between the company and the customer. So the obvious answer is I need to access my accounts. This is the PNC app. It's a very nice app. The virtual wallet thing, if you don't have it and you're on PNC, you should definitely take a look at it. And no, they didn't pay me for that. But this is the obvious answer. If I have an account with you, I should be able to go in and look up my account, whatever that is. If it's Best Buy, let me look up my recent orders. If it's the bank, let me look up my recent transactions or transfer money. So no matter what, most companies have some kind of an account, so checking that seems to be relatively obvious. This one goes a little further, though. This is Bank of America. And as far as I can tell, this is the only bank that has this out there. This is actually a research app. You can go in and research all kinds of data about your investments. And this is in their format, their reports, their analysts, their videos from their analysts, all kinds of information you can get about the possible investments you might make. What their assessment of risk is, what the market assessment of risk is for these companies. Obviously the formal legal documents are available in here. Very powerful app. And I didn't expect that from Bank of America, honestly. But it's an interesting idea where you can go just a step further by adding research.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You have to be a customer of Bank of America for that?
In this case, Yes, you do. You do have to be a customer for that. You log in. So this one, the reason I went over to look at my computer, some of these are screenshots from the App Store, and some of them are screenshots from my devices. So I had to look to see which one it actually was. And this one is a screenshot from the App Store. So you have to have an account to get this. Now, other banks may have it. They may not publish it out on the general web. You might need to know about it. So there could be others, but I found this one particularly filled with information. Font's a little small. I'd like to see it a little more readable. Design-wise, I think there were a few issues, but from an amount of content, I haven't seen anything like this recently on a device. The obvious REI, we talked about Domino's, ordering your pizza. That's actually relatively new. But in a second, we're going to look at REI and Domino's again, and how they take it beyond these. These are the obvious. Your REI, you should have a catalog app that allows you to order stuff. Your Domino's, you should have an app that lets you make your pizza and order it and have it delivered and track it. But two local businesses, a real estate company and Varsity Auto Group, interesting, they have their own apps, right? Real estate company is reasonably local, right? Southeast Michigan, central Southeast Michigan. Varsity only has 2 locations, yet they have their own app, so you can go in. But it even goes beyond making the orders for Varsity, and you can even get into the customer service stuff. So that's kind of nice. It's not just looking up what they've got in inventory, which is handy if I don't have time to get to this dealer at that moment, but you can get roadside assistance, you can schedule your service, you can find local gas prices, there's a parking assistant, they have a flashlight, all built inside their app. That's kind of fascinating for a local dealership. And there are a few, I'd say, there's probably 100 dealerships that have apps on the App Store. There might be more, but they're the ones I kind of looked at. These guys are local, of course, so that's kind of handy to have. And actually, that is my dealer, technically, and I didn't even know they had an app until the past week. That might be a marketing opportunity. I'm already a customer, and I didn't know they had an app. That's interesting. The one on the right, arguably could go here, could also go somewhere else. This app got a lot of press when it was released. Has anybody heard of this app? It's called Mark the Spot. What's one of the single most common problems that cell phone providers, more or less, especially AT&T, has? Quality of your signal. So they created the app to address this. I have another section called Pain Points coming up. This easily could go in the Pain Points thing, but I put it in customer service here because the idea is with this app is you walk around and if you lose signal, you open up the app, hit the button and say, I dropped a call, I don't have a signal, whatever your problem is in that moment, and then the next time it goes back online, it uploads that data. So they get instant tracking of where the problem areas are, and if they get enough of those reports, maybe they should put up another cell tower or boost the signal at the cell tower that exists. So a fascinating way for them to interact is this incredibly simple app. What, 10 buttons there?
Does the user have an opportunity to make a comment?
I don't know. Yes, there is actually. There is a spot you can put in additional comments. So, I don't know. I would prefer they actually fix their service rather than have an app that tells you when the service is broken. But if you can't be perfect, and having a way for your customers to easily interact and tell you when there's a problem is a pretty nice idea. And they certainly got a lot of press for this, but I think it's because a lot of people hate AT&T. This gives them a way to complain quickly and easily. Another one is loyalty points. Can't see inside this app because you need to be logged in, but there are several companies that have loyalty-related apps. So, do you know if does SwapTag have their app out yet or no?
It's still in beta, but it's out.
It is. So there's another. SwapTag is a local one that does Espresso Royale, Bubble Island, and UP Burrito.
Yeah, and the pizza, New York Pizza.
Yeah, NYPD. So it's a loyalty program, and you can log in and check your loyalty points on that. And it's cross-company loyalty, which is kind of interesting. So they have an app. Here's one. This is ConocoPhillips for airplanes, which Turns out this is a competitive way for airline companies to choose. They get reward points, and then based on the reward points, they get various discounts or benefits, standard loyalty stuff, but for airlines in this case, which is fun. This one confuses me. This is the MyFord Touch. It's a simulator, basically. It fakes the MyFord Touch interface. They talk about it as training to learn how to use your MyFord Touch interface. I have a rant that I could go on about dashboards and cars in general. If I need training to use my dashboard, you probably should redesign the dashboard. I'm just saying. On the other hand, though, this is a lot safer place to play than when you're driving at 80 miles an hour down, 275.
Unless you're doing it at the same time.
Yeah, on the app, while doing it on the screen, driving, yes, that's a perfectly safe thing to do. That was sarcasm recording. So this allows you to go through and learn how to use the different controls, the climate controls, the radio controls. I find it strange because I'm not actually controlling anything. And I'm not sure what it is I'm actually learning, because if I hit the radio button, it doesn't start playing the music. Or if the fan doesn't turn on, I don't hear anything, I don't get any results from pressing buttons. So it seems really weird. But maybe you give it to the kid in the back seat and they think they're playing with the controls and the heat stays the same. That could be nice. This is one of the only apps in here that I designed, so not much of my stuff in here. But this is for TechSmith Fast Track. They use this for training. In their case, they make Camtasia and Snagit. Camtasia is video capture, Snagit is screen capture. Both amazing tools. Highly, highly recommend them. If you do any speaking or presenting or web development, they're handy, handy tools. But their theory was their software is maximized on the screen, so you don't want to bring up a help screen that gets in the way of the work you're doing. So the iPad becomes this amazing third or second screen, depending. A lot of people have two screens already. It becomes a third screen that you can have your training up on. So by delivering the video content directly to the iPad, you could extend your desktop and get your training there and then actually do the stuff while the video is going on. Fascinating idea. And they're certainly working on revisions of this as well. Sears. Now here's starting to get non-obvious. This is Sears app. Nowhere in the app is it actually branded Sears. You have to look at who made it to see that it's Sears Holdings that made this. The app is called Manage My Life. And the top row of things are projects you might want to undertake. Painting a room or setting up preparing a baby's room, tiling a backsplash, planting roses. And the bottom are live questions from people using the app. And then they have experts in the background answering those questions. Why would Sears do something like this? There's no Sears, not one bit of Sears branding in here except in the App Store, which nobody ever pays attention to. Somebody? Anybody?
Sears sells all the stuff you use to do all those projects.
That's right. So, by the way, here's where you can go buy this. You need this paint, you need this crib, you need this carpet.
Well, they already have a certain percentage of the customer base, and if you can create more demand, they're automatically going to get whatever percentage of the customer base that.
That's right.
Even if they don't.
This is an example of a non-branded app. I mean, Sears is not mentioned in one place inside the app, yet they can get business out of this. So it's a fascinating marketing piece where they chose not to brand Sears, maybe for obvious reasons. So, interesting idea. Citibank uses they have an app just for recruiting, for on-campus recruiting. So you can go in and look at their schedule, look at where you are in the process, look at how you're doing. Fascinating idea. And now switching focus, we're switching to the customer themselves. So we've talked about apps that the company uses to find. It's all about me, 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 me. And then it was all about us, 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 us. Now we're going to talk about stuff that may not even directly relate, in some cases, to the company themselves. Now this one sort of does. There's a whole set of virtual products out there. It seems pretty easy if you make physical calculators, doing a virtual calculator that's a simulator of it. Pretty obvious, pretty easy choice for them to make. But this one, this is Ford Sync. If you have Ford Sync, I have it on my Mustang. You can ask for directions and it'll give you turn-by-turn directions over the radio if you don't have the visual one, or on the dashboard if you have the visual one. So you can get that, but this is an app that does that same thing and takes it a little bit further. So why would Ford create the Ford Sync destinations? When it's built into the car, that's what I wanted.
They've already paid to get that data. And if you can show a potential customer about how good this could be, and that you could just have in your car and not have to use your.
That's true. So this is a way to get more customers to use Sync. They already have the software developed. Nominal cost to move it over. It may extend their audience, may get more people to upgrade to the visual Ford Sync instead of the audio or no Ford Sync. So interesting approach for them. And actually the interface on here is a little bit better than it actually is in the car itself. So hopefully they'll take some of that back.
Tom, do you know if that's Android-based as well?
I do not, unfortunately. I would assume so, given the size of the company and the budget they have, but I cannot answer that question for
Does it
sure.
have a name?
The name, yes, it's Sync Destinations, Sync S-Y-N-C. This one I thought was especially interesting for this audience, for a marketing audience. Have you ever created a brochure and kind of wondered where people's attention might go, or a website? Well, these two apps, they're both from 3M, Hotspot and then VAS. I have no idea what VAS stands for. You can put in any image, of a website, of an app, of a photo, of a brochure, and it'll actually highlight the hotspots where eyes are most likely to go on that page. Fascinating. Now this is my app, the VizChef cooking app. So you can see that most people, at least if this is right, are going to spend time looking at the ingredients on the left side and then wander over towards the middle and look at the content that that's talking about. Fascinating for me. If I rethink how this impacts, I might want to try a few designs and run it through here and see how they change. So having said that, here's a picture of the buffet in my living room, and I just happen to have this on the iPads because I was testing a different app. But you can see the design of how the living room, where attention might go on the wall art that's there. Fascinating piece. So you can run anything through it. Now, the two big hotspots are because the app I was using was a U of M app and it branded that in there. But this is fascinating. Clorox owns Glad. I didn't know that. Learned something new. Glad bags, Glad trash bags. The app on the left is the Glad app that allows you to look up recycling locations. That seems counterintuitive to me, right? Don't use our trash bags, take your stuff to recycling. It's a great message, don't get me wrong, I like the message.
Yeah, but you need to get it there somehow.
You're probably not going to take it in a trash bag, though, because that kind of defeats the purpose.
I should be going for a green trash bag, one that's biodegradable. I mean,
That might be true, and they don't advertise that inside the app. So, anyway, looking for recycling locations seems counterintuitive. And the one on the right is, there's also something new I learned, can't wait to go. Wrap Fest, apparently they run it every year at Corner Brewing, I think. Could be wrong on that, but check it out. They bring in a bunch of local microbrews, very like microbrews, not the local bigger chains here, but tiny brewers. And you can do tasting. This is a tasting app. So as you taste them, you can track and rate what you liked and didn't like. That's kind of interesting. Again, what do these have to do with the product? Really nothing. This isn't advertising Corner Brewing at all. It's not advertising Glad trash bags. Same thing here. Well, in sort of Meyer is, these are going after pain points. The biggest pain point people have when they go to the grocery store is I can't find what I'm looking for, right? What if it mapped your grocery list on the store? Now, it's a little bit of a problem because you can't get 3G or Wi-Fi in the back of the Meyer store, so then it doesn't do you any good. Little complaint on my part. If you're going to do this, please put Wi-Fi in. So that's a big pain point. Or the one on the right is REI. This is the snow report by REI. You can look up any ski resort and get the current snow report for it. What a great pain point, And if you find this in here, maybe then you can go buy the skis or the poles or even the lift tickets through REI. Another major pain point with grocery shopping is I've got to pick out wine for dinner tonight and I don't know what to do. The one on the left is that exactly. In fact, I think I chose pairing with chocolate. So I guess I want wine with dessert tonight. There are 25 wines at the Scioto Township store that will pair nicely with chocolate. That's cool. The one, AT&T did a translator. You can talk into it, and it'll translate back and speak it back to you. So think about that on the road, you know. Hit the button, have whoever speak what they're saying into it, hit translate, and it comes back and speaks it to you in English. That's cool. The one on the left is a concierge service for Verizon. This goes back to your point of just keep me on the phone, keep my brand in there. Concierge service is all the stuff you might want to do.
What was the name of the translation app?
The translation app is AT&T Translator. The one on the right is Clorox Ingredients. Find out all the ingredients inside the products that Clorox makes. I'm not sure I really want to know what's in some of their products. I think I'm better off not knowing in some cases. But bleach is a pretty standard item and has reasonably standard chemicals in it if you're going to use it. iFood Assistant on the left got a lot of publicity. This is Kraft's app. Again, it's not branded Kraft anywhere in there, but it's a recipe app. They also have one that's kid specific. That one is technically branded Kraft. But in here, you're going through and you're making recipes. And by the way, they're recipes that are all centered around Kraft products. The one on the right is the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum. Anybody know who developed that app? Somebody local developed it, I don't know. But anyway, finding out where the exhibits are. The one on the left is aptly named University of Michigan. That's the app's name. There's nothing else but University of Michigan. But it is all your pain points for students. Where's the magic bus? What's the menus? What's the directory? What's a map? What events are going on? Going into C-tools, the course tracking tools. So all the things that a student might want in their hand inside a single app. The one on the right is another Clorox one, again with chocolate. I guess it was in a chocolate mood when I was putting this together. I didn't have any. How do you get chocolate stains out, or in fact any stain? Yeah. Now that sort of directly matches, right? But some of their solutions aren't necessarily product related. So the chocolate one is on the go. First get rid of the excess chocolate, use a little dish soap or laundry detergent to loosen the oils and prevent the stain from setting. Didn't say anything about Clorox in there anywhere, any of their products, so fascinating idea. The left, here's a compare and contrast. The left is all the Exxon stations. Okay, that's somewhat helpful, I suppose. On the right, though, is one of my favorite apps, Gas Button. You can get the lowest price anywhere near you. Love that app. And you can even update them. So if the number's out of date, you can go in and update the system. So everybody has the latest info. Pampers Hello Baby Pregnancy Calendar. No? Okay, so Pampers isn't advertised anywhere in here other than the name of the app when it comes up. But inside, you can track what your baby would be at this size, and you can enter all the other data, take pictures, all kinds of things. And then switching to causes, here is polar bear tracking in the Arctic. It's sponsored by Coca-Cola, which can actually wander through the 3D world, and it live tracks. And in this case, we're looking at Nanook, I guess, the bear. So you can walk up to the bear, and you can see and then check out all the information about the bear, when it was tagged, you know, all the history about that bear, where it's been. You know, Coke products aren't in here at all. Interesting. Here's one that's strange. We talked about some Meyer stuff. They're really doing some fascinating work. This Meyer piece is for tracking golf tournaments. Why would Meyer do a golf tournament or a T-ball league app?
For dads.
For dads, for family. You know, and this is a way for you to track and keep on. So you can get scores in here. You can get tournaments, you can get standings, you can get course information, you get news. They clearly didn't spend a ton of time on the app, on the design. It's not the most beautiful design. But to have that Meyer branded app that I open every day to check out the standings of where my kids are in the league, I think that might be a pretty good idea to get constant brand exposure. And then lastly, as we look through these, some fun ones. So these are still focused on the customer, but straight up fun. This one is from Jello. It's called Jiglet. You can put in any song or series of songs you want, and the Jello will dance to it. And then as you interact with it, as you tap or swipe or swipe in a circle, it'll dance in different ways. So you can actually play with your Jello. Chevy had a sweepstakes game. HP has a photo book. You can put your photos in, reorganize them. Here's Domino's stepping beyond the norm. This was created by Detroit Labs, which is a DVP-funded company in Madison, in Detroit. It started at Domino's, but they transferred it over to them. It's a game to make a pizza. You have to spread the dough right, spread the sauce right, put the cheese on right, put the toppings on right, slice it right, and you get scores and points for doing that. And then towards the end of the game, you're actually able to order the pizza that you make. You don't have to, but the game, and it's actually a reasonably good game, as a matter of fact, directly brand related in one way, but it's the non-obvious thing that you might do. Buick, of all people to do this game, I thought Leaf might do it, or any of the other electrics or hybrids, but this is the Buick fuel efficiency app. Wow, interesting. I'm not sure how that lines up wise, but sure, whatever. So your goal is to get to the store with using the least amount of gas as possible and not hitting anybody. Here's two examples of fun that other people created that I think can be bad for a brand potentially, or helpful for a brand. On the left is the oil spill game. And if you search Exxon on the App Store, this is one of the first apps that comes up. That's kind of scary from a brand standpoint. But the idea is to contain and clean up the oil spill. On the right is a checkout game. I'd love to see a grocery store do something like this, where you go through and ingredients come down the line and you got to put them in the bag in the right order so nothing gets crushed. Fun little game. Sprite, I have no idea how this fits with their brand, but you got to get the little cars into the right little spots. It's a really fun game, actually. Completely unbrand related. On the left is the Clorox potty blocks. Awful name. But it's the line up things and they clear. You get 4 in a row, 3 in a row, 5 in a row kind of game. Or the right is the glam shots from HP. That's one of the ones like when you go to use it, it cuts out the face and you can put your own face on that body and then send it. The Coca-Cola snow globe. I don't know. It doesn't even snow. I don't understand why that is. But the person dances as you tap. The Pepsi Twist and Shoot. This is kind of going after Angry Birds, but it plays horribly. If you're going to do these, by the way, do them right. And that was horrible. And I think the last one, I don't get this game at all. This is Guitar Hero, but with Ritz crackers. The Ritz crackers come down, you got to tap at the right point when they cross, which is basically Guitar Hero. I don't get it. The game is horrible. I don't see how this fits with the brand. So, with that, I guess it's probably time for announcements. So, if we do that, we have an app idea, share it during those. And last notes, if you're going to do an app, be unique, be useful, and unlike that Ritz app, do it right. So there you go. Here's my information. That's that.
All right. Great job, Tom. Thank you. Does that make noise? There we go. Okay, so now it's introduction time, and that's good you went over a little bit because don't turn it off. Oh, just be careful. It screeches when you turn it off. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go over around the room and introduce ourselves. If you have an app idea, you can share that. But try and like summarize it into like 10 words or less, so we don't have to shoot you. And we'll make it all the way around the room in 10 minutes. I know we will, because we're like that. So we'll start over here with Mary Lou.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou. I'm manager of LA2M, and my app idea would be to have a speaker sign-up app.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Blackwell. I'm the social media director at Gen X, and my app has actually already been invented, but I wanted an app that would tell me what a font was if I held it over a piece of text, but it is called What the Font.
What the font? Mike Nguyen with Family Training. Wanted to make sure that all you President's Club members come next Monday because we're doing a Selling with Disc, fun, interactive.
I'm Abby Stoner, and I work for Search Ad Marketing, and I am a social media account manager for them, as well as I do copywriting. I'm also a freelance writer, and I have 0 app ideas. 0.
I always alert, that's my app, don't be alerted. My name is Hank Zampa, Associates of International Marketers. We're an e-commerce business, and we help people develop marketing distribution systems on the internet, nationally and internationally.
I'm Bud Gibson. I created the search marketing program at Eastern Michigan University. We help you both get visitors to your website and then convert them into customers. I have an app for you. I tried the Hotspot app, and I downloaded the VAS app, but it required me to do a login.
Right.
The Hotspot app is really cool. Okay, I'm an amateur photographer, and was kind of like, well, I think attention is going here. Plugged it into the Hotspot app, and indeed, it confirmed my intuitions.
I'm Bob Shannon. I'm a CPA from Chelsea, Michigan, and I have my own firm specializing in financial planning, financial projections, and taxes.
Dr. Arbor with Board Family Chiropractic. I'm an upper cervical chiropractor, and we allow you to do more with your body than you've ever been able to before.
Hi, my name is Jade Grammatico, and I'm a marketing intern at Move Communications.
Jake, we need to give it to Roger. Introduce himself.
Yeah, I guess I got 2 apps now. One is a remote control video camera, so I don't always have to be eating with one hand.
There is one. Did you see the?
But I need a camera to go with it. So I guess I need, on the 3rd app, then I need an app to like solicit money to buy one of those. And then the other app is an app that shows which way to pass the basket and which way to pass the money.
Well, your gesticulations worked.
My name is Greg Boyle. I work with Bloom Roofing Systems, and we do commercial roof repairs and roof replacements. And I need an app that is going to make roofing fun so people actually care about the roof systems.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim Musial. I am with a company called Knowledge Digital. We're here in Ann Arbor, and we are a web and mobile development company.
I'm Ross Johnson. I'm with 3.7 Design, which is a web design, web strategy company. I had an app idea to come up with an app to help you track your mileages on your leased vehicles, and Tom helped me make that come true, and it turned out great. So if you need somebody to make your apps come to life, I would talk to Tom.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Dusek, a web developer and graphic designer with Meta Media. I don't really have any app ideas. I feel like they've all been created.
I'm Brett Rosentrader. I'm an undergrad at the University of Michigan College of Engineering. Currently an intern at Engineers, and I'm going to keep my app secret right now.
Roll them, go around.
Or Robert Backstresser with Arbor software. We help you go mobile with native app development and strategy. And I have an app idea. It's an app that keeps track of Derek.
I'm Justin Bedwin with the Ann Arbor Transportation Authority. Don't forget to sign up for the Commuter Challenge, and my app idea would be something that gamifies the transit experience.
I don't know which way to turn it. Hi, I'm Steve Byer. I'm here with Bob. I really don't have a business, although I guess I kind of do. One of the things I'm working on, though, is I've taken over the Mac Review Cast from a person who has cancer, and I'm muddling my way through that. I think an app, and there's some of them out there, but that ties together all of these social network sites so you can have one place to go and hit them all in one shot.
Hi, I'm Bob Ferran, and my business is Bob Ferran Photography, and I do commercial and advertising photography for the Southeast Michigan area, and that includes product photography and also executive portraiture.
Hi, I'm Bill Lockwood with AreaLink, soon to be Zayo, which was purchased by Zayo, company that I left to come to AreaLink last summer. We'll see how that works out next month. And I'm also a new grandfather, and I have no apps. I have a new grandson.
Hi, Jane Delancey, Delancey Design. We provide design services for marketing, all kinds of design services, and my app idea is a massage app. Wink, wink.
Hi. Add stuff to my cats. We just need to get that. And then think about it. You could also then have it go through a randomized pattern and learn what areas you like to have. We must move on.
Anyway, I'm Matt Radowski, graphic and web designer at Capital Letters, so we do B2B marketing for the Michigan construction industry. Right now, I can't really think of an app at the moment. I've seen so many that my idea is probably already been taken.
I'm Keith Warren. I also work with Arbor. Just started working with them, partnering to do their mobile strategy, which is basically coming up with ideas and app ideas. So I do that all day, so I'm fresh out now.
Hi, I'm Zoe Hampton. I work for Torrance Learning. We are an e-learning design development company.
I'm Curtis Sherwood from the Studios, and I'm a commercial editorial photographer.
Alrighty, my name is Derek Marabon, CEO of Ingenix Digital Marketing, and we are a full-service digital agency, do all types of social media marketing, SEO, and search engine optimization. You can find out that if you can come down to it. But my app idea, yeah, I have a few. I'm kind of with Brian. I'm not. We don't have time to share it actually because there's only 1 minute left. But I'll let Davey finish us off here.
I'm Dee Davey, Creative Ideas Marketing. I help companies who provide business-to-business services grow their revenues, and I've been doing that for over 25 years. My app idea is, when I'm out and about, I'm a health and fitness enthusiast, and I like to go for a workout, but I never know where I'm going to be or when I'm going to be, and what is on the program of my health and fitness club or other clubs that I can drop into. So I'd like to just quickly be able to identify that. I am also the voice of Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing, and it is my pleasure to introduce next week's speaker. We have, behind Derek, we have the alternative Derek Marabon. Derek has recently published his book on social media. I'm sure we're going to have some little snippets coming out of that. Yep. So join us next week with Derek Marabon covering social media, digital marketing, and some interesting things that you probably don't know that are going to apply for your business. Join us next week, Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing. See you then.
And big thanks to Tom Crawford. Go make some money. You're free.
See you, Mike.
You're big on ads, huh?
No, I never use that.